poll up for it. This is going to be maybe a contentious one, but Erling Haaland versus Didier Drogba. What are you saying, Gav?
Well, look, I'm a Bundesliga merchant, and I'm proud to say it. I don't care, right? I love Haaland. I think he is going to be a future GOAT. If we go by what is done in the Premier League, for me, Premier League only, Drogba has had 1.5 good seasons. If we talk about what he's done over time and what he's done in finals and what he's won for Chelsea, then Drogba is far clear. That's honesty. You know, he scored in Champions League final. I was there, I watched him back stick, bam, header. You know what I mean? But Haaland is a different character, and we're not even seeing the best of him yet. And that's what makes me feel physically sick. Man are talking about saying that he's just like a poacher, is like a Norwegian Franny Jeffers or something. And like this guy, he's got so much power, he's got so much pace, he's got so much drive, he's got so much strength. He's good in the air, he's good on the ground. Honestly, there's some of the goals that he scored for Dortmund and for Salzburg actually over the years have been unbelievable. And what we're seeing right now is not the final form of Erling Haaland. This guy is going to be the best player that we've ever seen, maybe the best player that we've ever seen in the Premier League if he stays for at least 3 seasons. But there was already saw talk that he might be going to Real Madrid in 2024. So he might if he stays for at least 3 years. Honestly, I don't think we'll see a better player in the Premier League. Trust me.
I think. Go on,
Bob.
Yeah, I just think that with Drogba, like I'm usually someone that comes to. I come for Drogba a lot because if you look at his stats and like you say, he's great in the cup finals, was great player at times for Chelsea. But if you actually look at his whole Chelsea stint, he disappeared for quite a few seasons. Like he was not that guy at all times. And there was people that come in and took over at some points and he was in and out. But I just think it's going to be very hard for Haaland to surpass his legacy during this time, because I think that City are coming down a bit. They're not going to be, over the next couple of years, I don't think City are going to be as dominant as they previously was. I think teams are going to be a bit more competitive, and so it's going to be harder for Haaland to go out there and just win the amount of trophies that Drogba is going to do. So unless he beats him trophy-wise, he's going to have to go out there and do what Drogba done in finals. And Drogba, we all know for finals-wise, there's no player that you're going to put in a final over Drogba. Like, you just choose Drogba because you know he's going to get the job done. So if you look at player-wise, we all know Haaland, I think he has more to, and I wouldn't say more to his game, he's going to be a better goal scorer than Drogba. But I think Drogba's legacy in the Premier League is just going to be solidified because he's going to have more trophies. He's going to be the player that we all know was clutch and like the definition of clutch. So I think it's going to be too hard to take it away from him.
You know what? I'm going to go with Haaland. I am going to go with Haaland. And it's a tough one because really and truly it comes down to one thing for me. If Haaland can win a Champions League and he has to have a good final. He has to have an important role in the final. Because Drogba wasn't great against Bayern Munich, but he scored the goal. And then he scored a winning penalty. You know, Chelsea weren't great in that final. They defended for their lives and they got but he turned up when he needed to. He's got about 100 goals in the Premier League. If Haaland's here, he could be here for 2 years and break it. But if he's here for 3 years, he's breaking that. If he's here for 5 years, he's doubling it, probably. So I think Premier League-wise, playing for a great Man City side, I think Drogba's got three Premier Leagues. 4. Maybe he might have the 2015 one as well. Yeah, I think 2015. Yeah. So if Haaland's here for 5 years, let's say he wins 3 Premier Leagues, wins a Champions League, scores 175 goals. Considering the rate that he's going to be scoring at, the records he's going to be breaking, I think that could be enough to surpass Drogba's legacy in the Premier League. Now, of course, there's FA Cup finals and League Cups and all that maybe Haaland's not gonna score, but it's the main. Those are the 2 big trophies: the Premier League and the Champions League. And I think if he can have a big Champions League final performance and win the trophy, I think he's got a very good chance of surpassing Drogba's legacy purely based on the number of goals he's going to score across the season.
So it must
Go
be
on,
an
mate.
international break because we're talking about Drogba. So it must be an international break. I'll just say he had 2 good goal scoring seasons, not 1.5. I know that's hard for Arsenal fans because he dunked on you every time he played you in only Emirates and still does.
Scored about 150
So
goals against us anyway. I get that. I'm still burning from it. The anus cells run out.
Listen. As a goal scorer, if it on goal scoring, there's no match. Haaland is superior in goal scoring. He's already like. I remember Drogba we only really noticed Drogba when he played for Marseille when he was like 25. So it's not as if we noticed Drogba when he was 18 or something like that. But George said it best. This man is clutch. He's the definition of clutch. He can have the worst season ever, and he is clutch. In a semi-final, in a final, he will score or have an impact. The only one he didn't, have a positive impact on was the 2008 Champions League final when he got sent off. Because he would have scored that penalty that Terry slipped on. So, but he is the definition. At times, he's unplayable. If you ask like defenders like Jamie Carragher, who you regularly embarrassed home and away, he is the worst. He's one of the worst. The way he would take 2 defenders to make space for the likes of Lampard and Robin and stuff like that to score was unbelievable. The way he just bullied people. I mean, there's never been really. I know Costa's sort of like that, but he exceeds Costa in almost every way. Maybe apart from the amount of goals he scored, he's just unplayable. Even when he came back in 2015, he was older, but he was still making an impact for us. He is. I'm extremely biased. I'm a Chelsea fan. He's the best striker at the club I've seen. Just all round. I think an all round he's a better player than Haaland, but Haaland's yet to evolve. So I don't know what type of player he's going to end up becoming. Drogba was not only a goal scorer, he's a creator as well. But that Champions League run in 12, apart from the quarterfinal, that the way he led against Napoli,
Barcelona.
in the 2012 when he played right wing back and left wing back, we went down to 10 men. He, by the way, the final I know he scored, but he nearly cost us because he conceded a penalty as well. Yeah. But he was just in the time he was in the Premier League.
That would have been 2 Champions Leagues. That would have been 2 Champions League cost you.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. Yeah, exactly. But his legacy. For me, his legacy. He has a better legacy right now. Problem is, someone as he said, it was like, how long is Haaland going to stay in the Premier League? And if so, during that time, how much is he going to win? What? I think he has to win multiple trophies because I think he's going in 2 years. I really do. And that's possible, by the way.
But there's stories about that already today coming out of Spain. That in the summer of 2024, Real Madrid want to activate what they believe there's a clause in the contract, and we'll see. It's such a hard one because Drogba's an iconic player, as you say. So many great moments, the way he dunked on Arsenal. He hurt all of our teams at different times. I always remember that goal. It was offside at Old Trafford that essentially took the title away from Man United. He's got that longevity element because he did it so regularly. The thing with Haaland is, though, but listen, people don't like the comparison, but on goals, it's a fact. Only R9 at his age in Europe had as many goals as him. He is the most prolific goal scorer of the last 40 years at this stage in his career. He's the best goal scorer in the history of the Champions League at 22 years of age and the fastest to get to 30 goals. By the way, he beat all the other records in a country mile. And I think if he adds trophies to this, I think he will surpass Drogba. So if he adds 2 or 3 Prem, Champions League, and that's what this debate is about. It's, do you think Haaland is going to achieve that or not? Now, if you think he's leaving in 2 years, then he can't achieve that. He can only win maximum two Prems and 2 Champions Leagues. And by the way, if he does two Prems, 2 Champions Leagues, and he breaks all these records, you might then also think he's going to do it. And that's what makes this debate so interesting, because an element of it is based on what we think's going to happen versus what we already know has happened. But for me, the viewers have voted 52% in favor of Haaland. And that's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about it. I kind of feel like
But you know the interesting thing is, I wonder that 52%, that must be purely based on the fact we think he's going to leave. Because if he stays in the Premier League to the length of time Drogba was here, surely we all believe he's clear, because his record, the goal record, is going to be stupid. And he's going to win about 5 Premier Leagues if he's there for 10 years.
If Haaland stays here for 10 years, there is an argument for him to become the GOAT.
The
There
Premier League,
really
yeah.
is. There really is. And I also feel as well, once Messi and Ronaldo retire and their fanboys need somebody new to lock onto, a lot are going to pick Haaland, a lot are going to pick Mbappe. And when you get that kind of force behind you, that creates legacy in itself. It's why Wayne Rooney also outstrips Mo Salah. This guy's fame, before social media as well, that's part of legacy. There were some super chats that come in there. The first one said that Haaland is an iPhone 14 and Drogba is a Nokia 3310. I can tell you now, I think a 3310 Nokia is more iconic.
More robust.
Yeah,
legacy.
Legacy.
It's legacy.
Snake 2 was gangster as well.
And that battery lasted like a week, so it came in clutch.
That Snake game's
Incoming
iconic.
Todd here said Drogba is my hero. Drogba all day long. And Neto says moments matter. Drogba had that as an Arsenal fan saying it. Todd also says Drogba's goals are more epic. You've got to remember though, Todd, it's not. This is what's hard about this debate. It's nuanced. So we know what Drogba did. But do you think Haaland's going to create lots of? Haaland's going to score in semi-finals and finals if he's in them.
And he's already scored a hat-trick in the Manchester derby. Like, he's on it.
Terry, he's wearing a Chelsea. Terry, he's wearing a Chelsea hat. You can't expect. He's emotional. You can't expect him to not go with Drogba. He's wearing a Chelsea.
No, I hear you. So Drogba's had £10 put in him so far, but this has come in here. He's scared to see what Haaland will achieve in his career, but Drogba is the big game player and produced too many tangibles for Haaland to even come close. That's £30 been put there on Drogba. £30 on Drogba to have a bigger legacy than Haaland by the time Haaland stops playing in the Premier League. And we won't argue with the super chats as of right now. We'll get that kind of update.
The Chelsea fans come out for these ranking shows, Terry. You know that the Chelsea fans come out.
They do come out for their boys here, and that's
they come out now.
I have to remember, Haaland scored 5 goals in the Champions League game the other day.
Do you know what? I'm going to be honest with you.
Did the same.
I honestly think, as much as I think that Didier Drogba is a legend of English football, because for me, although he's from the Ivory Coast, I look at footballers as being English footballers when they played their careers here. Does that make sense? I don't mean nationality-wise. His best years were here. I just think Haaland in 4 seasons will have as many, if not more, great moments, and he'll have more records. He'll score more. I personally think Haaland will surpass him in terms of legacy in football, but I get why people are
saying 2 years. 2 years. Do this debate in 2 years, and he's probably broken the record, all those records. Do the debate in 2 years, and it'll be Haaland by far.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying there. Terry, no one knows Rashi either, Mbappe or Haaland after Messi and Ronaldo. Do you see their Liverpool fans and their insecurities? I didn't mention Rashford's name and they had to bring him up. You know what I'm saying? I hope you don't say Rashford. Please don't say Rashford. Yeah, bro, it is what it is. Rashford's going to have a mad legacy in football. He genuinely will by the time he retires, but he's not in today's debate.